what's up to all my lean maniacs? Listen, I know everybody knows the saying, no standards, no kaizen. Even Henry Ford said standardization is only the best we know today, but not tomorrow. So we all know it, right? And so my question is, why aren't we doing something about it then? We all know it's the most important thing to do, and yet it seems to be the last thing that everybody does because, I mean, let's face it, it's kind of a pain in the butt to document all of your procedures. Well, it needs to be done. And I'm going to run around the shop here and I'm going to show you a few examples of where we have standards and why. Simple stuff like the compressor. It's literally 2 buttons, but we have a procedure. How to label doors. CNC lockout procedure. On our sanding robot. Oversized cutout. Now, before we keep this going, I'm going to give you a huge tip, and something that we learned the hard way was, let me try and figure this out. Here we go. So we make MDF doors here, and as you can see, every door has its own profile. We make like 39 or 40 different kinds. And what we discovered was it's almost the same sanding requirements for each door, just the profile's a little bit different. So in the beginning, we said, well, if it's this kind of door, sand it like this. And if it's this kind of door, sand it like this. And then there was another small nuance. And so we had to change it again. And we're like, okay, well, if it's this kind of door or this kind of door, do this. And then if it's this kind of door or that kind of door, do those. And want to see what we learned? We learned that there has to be a standard for every single one. So if you have similar products that take similar procedures, let me save you years of agony and make a standard. Look, this never ends. Make a standard for every single one. Even if they're similar. Look, the reason for this is we don't want any guessing and assuming, and you have to be precise. Everybody has to be doing the exact same thing. Not close, not almost, not, oh, I like it this way and Bob likes it this way, so we're gonna be a little bit different. Precisely the same thing. And if you don't have precise instructions, you can't expect precise actions. We got our waste grinder there. How to turn on and off the waste grinder. How to create Kanban cards. And we have a dedicated station, which is pretty cool. How to wrap a skid. Why are bathrooms always perfect? Standard. Shipping procedures. Now, some of the typical pushback you're going to get is like, well, why do I need to do that? I already know what I'm doing. You got to explain and help people to understand. It's not for you. I mean, it is, but it's for the next guy. It's for the next guy you have to teach. It's for the day that you're on holidays and somebody has to step in for your position. It's the day that you hire the new guy and don't want to make mistakes for the first 2 months. To the extent that you standardize your process is going to be the extent of the success of your business. Super cool story. So I had the pleasure of sitting with Art Byrne, the author of the Lean Turnaround, just a couple of weeks ago, and he told me this story. He brought these Japanese consultants into one of his factories, and he said they walked in the door and they got 20 feet into a 2-hour tour. It was a humongous company, and they stopped and said, okay, we've seen enough, let's go to the boardroom. And so they go up to the boardroom, and everyone was dumbfounded, Art included, and he's like, we didn't even do the tour, like, what are these guys gonna do? And he said they walked into the boardroom and they wrote in big letters on the whiteboard, no good. And the reason was they could tell by walking 20 feet into the plant that there was no standards and nobody was following them. So they didn't need to see any more. And if I had a nickel for every time somebody told me, oh, we're custom, we can't standardize, my God, I wouldn't be making this video because I would be in my helicopter flying around Maui. You can standardize. I don't want to hear that. It's a lazy excuse. There's always something you can do. And whether you can standardized right down to the nitty gritty? Maybe not. But even custom work is going to generally start in the same area, in a breakout area. It's going to generally go to a cut area. Then it's going to generally go to an assembly, a sanding, a finishing. So there's always a level of standardization that can be done. And a really cool place to start is up here in your offices. So even all of these procedures can be standardized, like how to book holidays, like how to make an SOP. That's a good one. So here's going to be your number one challenge when you're making standards. You're going to get all excited about it. You're going to start making them. And what's going to happen is you're going to realize how much little details that you forget each time. So here at my factory, we say you're not done with a standard like that until you've revised it 10 times. So don't get discouraged when you have to revise them over and over and over again. You got to stay the course, because the minute you don't revise it is the minute that they're not reliable, which is the very minute they stop getting used. Now, we want you to share this video with your team. This video is not a sales pitch, but I am going to save myself a whole lot of aggravation in the comments, because everybody's going to want to know, how do we do so many standard procedures so fast? I'm just going to give you the secret weapon and have at it. There it is. Believe me when I tell you that the success you're seeking is right on the other side of the standards you're not creating.